Greetings. This is Justin Allen, the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. Sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take the measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Mary, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, she's working full-time at an urgent care and PRN teaching. She recently started a men's health clinic where she focuses on testosterone replacement therapy, weight loss, IV infusion, and vitamin injections. She's needing help with integrating new services into her practice, how to effectively market, and what things she needs to focus on as a new practice owner. Hey, Mary, how are you?
Good. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing good. Thanks for hopping on here. So let's go ahead and get started. So tell us about yourself. How long have you been a nurse practitioner for, and what kind of things you've been getting into since you become an NP?
Yeah, so I've been in healthcare for 15 years, but I've only been a nurse practitioner for about a couple years now. And I recently just opened my practice October 23rd. So I'm 10 weeks into it, still as a newbie.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I've actually it's interesting. So I worked I've done a little bit of neurotele rehab and nephrology, and I started as an NP working in nephrology for a couple years, but I think when I listened to your podcast, I was listening to financial investments, and then I came across your podcast on Spotify. And it really changed my whole perspective on how to think. I was the only provider in rural areas. I was willing to do the drive, and I didn't have a doctor with me. And so I was taking care of anywhere from renal transplant, SIDH patients, very complicated cases. Most of my rotations I did in urgent care. So I ended up going back to urgent care just because I wanted to open up my own practice and have that flexibility to do it during the weekdays. So currently that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of made you really want to start this practice?
So I come from a family of physicians, and I'm the first nurse practitioner in my family I always say, to ruffle up their feathers. But I think I was just so tired of working 100 hours. The pay was not there. It was just I was being taken advantage of. For sure. I was driving 3,700 to 5,000 miles, taking care of over 1,000 patients. And I had a conversation with my family, and they were like, the only way out is to really just open up your side practice. So I would listen to your podcast. You did a lot for me. I would listen to your podcast over and over again. And I would have these conversations with my husband that I need to open up in this rural area with no competition and really just go for it. I want to open up a business. I want to open up a side practice. I want to have financial freedom. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah. And how old are you?
I am 36 years old.
Okay. I mean, that's a pretty good age to get started. I was kind of a similar age, mid 30s. So you could easily achieve some sort of position of financial freedom probably within the next 4 to 5 years if you do everything right, reinvest money back in your business, et cetera. So 36 years old is a pretty good age to do this. And yeah, I hear you. As a nurse practitioner, you get taken advantage of. And, I used to work urgent care as well. And that shit sucks.
It does. It does. I mean, like, I will only say the benefit versus coming from like an office setting is when you're done, like after your shift. So I will say that's the only benefit of urgent care. But seeing like 60 patients a day, that wears and tears on you.
Yeah, and like 60 patients a day, for me, sometimes that wasn't actually like a slow day. I think the most I ever saw in one day, I don't remember exactly, but it was like 118 or something fucking insane.
And
Um,
you can pull your eyes out.
yeah, by myself. Yeah, like it was 12 hours of non-stop. Like it never stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was awful. Yeah, I would never do that again. But anyways, though, so you're on the right footing here. So you just started this practice, really just a couple months ago. So how's it going?
So I think when I messaged you, I think it's going well. Right now, I started in a small town of 40,000 metropolitan area. There's about 110,000 of like city areas next to it. And there's no competition other than like, telehealth, no men's health practice. So for me, it was a no brainer. I actually live an hour and a half away, and I don't mind driving an hour and a half to the rural areas. And I had my LLC in March, but I got an analysis paralysis, and I didn't pull the trigger till October 23rd. I opened the doors, and it was slow at first. And then I don't know what happened in the last week before our call. I went from like 20 and now I have 32 patients in 2 weeks. So like, I guess word is getting around, and I haven't even really seen the benefits of my marketing. I would assume with my Google ads, I'm barely just started that in November. So I'm hoping that's a good sign.
No, that's a really good sign. What service are these people signing up for mostly?
So I took a look at it. I have about, a lot of weight loss, of course. I do have a couple people doing some peptide therapies like Somorlin, and then I'm barely just getting word of mouth with men. So I should have like 20% of my patient census is men. And then I would say IV is a crapshoot, just by the way. And then the weight loss is probably the rest of it. So it is a little bit heavy on the weight loss. But my fears are, if tirzepatide goes or semaglutide goes, I need to learn how to pivot. So I've been trying to offer more than just those services like Contrave, Phentermine. I have Somorlin as a peptide to kind of help with that as well. So just trying to think out of the box so that I can be smart about it and not just depend on it.
Yeah. Um, Okay, so what would you want to kind of see this practice evolve into? I mean, having, 30 something patients in a couple months that's pretty good.
For 10 weeks.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it really is. It's probably, I would say it's probably above average. So, I would think that probably the next 3 or 4 months, you should probably have close to 100, which, um, once you hit 100 patients, you're really starting to generate some pretty healthy income on a monthly basis. You're starting to generate, 15 to $20,000 a month if you have 100, consistent patients. So yeah, so I think you're on the right track here. Um, so what would you like to really focus in on here? Do you want to just focus in on, more testosterone replacement therapy, weight loss? Like what would Mary want to do?
I think hormonal replacement. I think it's a game changer. My father, who was on testosterone replacement, his A1C was at 12, and he went down to where he wasn't taking diabetic medications. And I saw how it changed his life. So when I even found that that was a possibility for us, and I took your courses, which were honestly really helpful. Thank you, Justin, for what you do.
Yep.
Um, because I think you woke up a bell inside of me that was kind of really inspiring. Because if I can run, very specialized services and do that by myself as a new MP, it was really motivating for me to really jump on hormonal replacement. So my goal would be hormonal replacement. And then obviously have weight loss as an adjunctive therapy. I'm not really feeling the IV therapy just because of the national shortages. And, it's a hit or miss if I get IVs right now. So I think that's something I'm going to toss in 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, the IV is, I'd probably just fucking toss it.
Yeah, I've literally thought about it and I'm like, I have this Ivy room and my husband, he has a master in business administration. He just got it and I'm hope my goal for him would be because we're veteran owned since he's a veteran. My goal would be for him to do like the business operations later on. And I could focus on patient care. But yeah, he thought the IV would be great and I just kind of looked at it like maybe.
Yeah, it's not it's not a very profitable service. I mean, you can scale it to something where it is profitable, but it is such a logistic fucking nightmare. Like, I mean, there's so much overhead with it. It's laborsome. I'd say scrap it and just stick to the vitamin injections. It's so much easier.
Yeah, and that's what and I was listening and I was like, and I've been hearing you say that. So last month I've worked into the vitamin injections. So I think my goal would just to be mostly hormonal replacement. I know like there's been I get a lot of couples and a lot of women are asking if I will do hormone replacement and I don't think they have that out in this location. So I took some of your additional courses for like the advanced women's health and my mother used to be an OBGYN and I'm like, well, I have somebody I can bounce ideas off of. Maybe I can get those services, in. I just don't want to overwhelm myself and see shiny object syndrome and then pull my hair out.
Yeah. Yeah, try to stay as focused as possible on this. As a new business owner, people can get plagued pretty easily with, shiny object syndrome. They want to do all these kind of different things, but it usually backfires on you, and you usually end up being less efficient, less productive because you're so spread thin. So, my advice to you, if you're enjoying doing the men's health so far, and you have 30 something patients just after 2 months. I would say just focus on that because men's health is easy. When you start seeing women and whatnot, it usually complicates it more. Now, I'm not saying you can't see women, but I wouldn't really advertise it. You know what I mean? Kind of focus on the men's health. So, like, if you just focused on hormone replacement therapy, the weight loss, and the vitamin injections, and you just kind of kept it there, throwing some peptides or whatever, if you just kept it there, you probably have a pretty successful practice that is easy to operate, easy to manage, easy to market, and really doesn't have a whole lot of time constraints.
Okay. What do you think about doing like women's testosterone replacement? Like, because I would love to do that. I don't know if I want to do like the progesterone and estrogen, but I know, women's testosterone injections, that can be a game changer for some. Do you think that would be something I could probably do complementary for my services?
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, I treat women testosterone. I treat quite a few women at my practice, with testosterone replacement therapy, and most of them are just like, the partners of, my patients, basically. You could advertise that if you want, but if you start advertising that and really putting it on your website, it kind of takes away from the whole men's health component of it. And a lot of men kind of like the men's health focus, right? They like the idea that this is a men's health clinic. And
Okay.
so if you start integrating women's health stuff into it, now it kind of just turns into just a wishy-washy wellness practice, and it kind of takes away from that.
Got it. I'm so on the same page. Because I try to listen to what my patients would like. And, I feel the same because when I first started, I was like, I really just want to stay focused on men's health because women, it gets complicated. There's just too many things going on with women. And you got to worry about the cancer risks and everything. And so I agree. I just needed to hear it from somebody who's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I'd say if you just focus in on that, just keep it that way, it's fine, And just like I said, just treat some women here and there with testosterone replacement therapy. Don't make it your focus by any means. Um, so I guess tell me about the practice. Like, it's a physical location. Do you have competition? Kind of give me a little bit of background.
Yeah, so I put it on the busiest road. There is a road, so it's like a military place. It's 40,000 in this little area, but it's really 110,000 with, coinciding like cities. And so it is like, I did get a practice with a business sign on the busiest road. It's in a plaza, but it's such a small town. Everybody knows like we're located in this one area by this restaurant. So it's on the busiest street. It's in a plaza location, but it has a sign where it can't be missed. I have some A-frames hanging out still. And I'm just waiting for my landlord to tell me to remove it, but I'm not removing it until they tell me to do so on the street road. But it, you know, it I paid 1,300 a month for it. It's about 1,000 square feet. It was the best deal I could find on the busiest road. It used to be a tattoo shop, and then it was already pre-built in, so I didn't have to really do anything but get exam tables in here and decorate the place and paint it. So I didn't pull out any loans. So that my risk was very low. I think I bought my exam tables from an OBGYN clinic that was closing down, and they sold me two for 300. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to go pick that up from like another city 2 hours away. So it's a small clinic, very basic. I don't have any paintings up. Just a simple exam room with like, it has its own, sink and everything. So, I mean, that was kind of nice.
Yeah. And it's in a pretty good location.
Correct. Yes. Yes. It's on a very busy road. I think it's just more getting the word out there.
What's the sign situation like?
So I have a sign on the front of my building. We had to have it part of the lease, so it lights up. It's a pretty big sign for the most situation. Um, but it's in like a plaza where there's a restaurant. So even though it's on a busy road, I mean, if you drive into the plaza, you'll see it. It's not like you can't see it from the road though. It's just not like on a frontage road, where it's kind of exposed to all the cars. So you do have to go in the plaza, unfortunately.
Yeah. Um, okay. So from a marketing perspective, what have you kind of done?
So I thought I was gonna have like a great plan and it changes all the time, to be honest. So I would love your advice. I partnered with this radio station that's very popular on Facebook. They have 40,000 followers. And I pay 650 a month and they play radio ads, but they do free business spotlights for me every 2 months. So they'll do like a live video on Facebook and I'll get views. And so for the first month, I got 6 people from them. But the radio ads, nobody listens to the radio. So it's like bullshit, right? Like the second month, I didn't really get anybody. So then they did another video and I got maybe 2 or 3 from this. So I just wonder if I'm losing money out my ass with it.
I mean, if you're not really seeing a whole lot of return on it, probably. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, let's start with the basics here. Um, you have your Google business listing and stuff, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. You have any reviews on there yet?
Yeah. So I have 16 5-star reviews.
Okay. So your goal is to make that as many as possible. Okay.
Okay.
Like that's your goal. I mean, it is so important and so many people overlook it. So make that a huge priority. Like every single one of those dudes coming into your office, have them give you a 5-star review and in return give them some Viagra for free or give them 10% off or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So make that your absolute priority. This is the beautiful thing about Men's Health. You don't have to advertise it that much. Um, Especially if your Google business listing says Men's Health and Testosterone Clinic on it. What did your Google business listing say now? You don't have to divulge the actual name, but what does it say?
It just says wellness clinic. So I don't mind. Yeah, it just says wellness clinic. But I heavily pay for like Google ads to say like men's testosterone and injections or hormonal replacement. And quite frankly, the second month I've had a bunch of people find me off of Google. So do you think I need to rebrand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, make it as straight, clear as possible. Okay, like literally have your name and then put Men's Health and Testosterone Clinic right after it. Like,
Okay.
and keep it at that. if you do that, people know exactly what it is that you're doing. Um, and so it should work out from that perspective when people are searching for you. Do you have a lot of competition in your area?
No, there's no men's health clinic out here. There's telehealth, there is another nurse practitioner that opened up a practice, but they're doing more of like a urgent care. They do have women's and men's health, but I don't know. I get why they're doing it, but they kind of open up at the same time. So I'm trying to get ahead of marketing.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and that other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. Well, if you don't have a whole lot of competition, or really if any at all, and you're going to be really the only men's health focused clinic in town, again, I don't think you need to advertise that much. If you can just be patient, um, get reviews on that Google business listing, and maybe just throw out a couple Google search ads, maybe one billboard, that's all I would do.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't spend money on radio ads, TV ads. I wouldn't spend a bunch of money on Facebook ads. I just wouldn't, because people are looking for this. Men in your area are actively looking for this. And if you're the only thing that comes up when they search, that's really about all the advertising you do. At my men's health clinic, we don't advertise anymore. We just don't. Um, like I just don't. I don't spend money on marketing anymore. I don't need to, because my Google business listing has 100+ reviews on it. And when you search men's health in my area, we're the first one that comes up. And the majority of our patients come from either they're finding us on Google or just word of mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking. Cause like before we would wait in the clinic and it's boring at first. And I know you said don't expect, until 3 or 6 months of marketing. And then last week, I don't know what happened. We got walk-ins, like people were coming in and I was just like overwhelmed and excited at the same time. But I was like, I didn't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the 32 patients that you have, over 10, 12 weeks, it's pretty impressive. I really think that the name of the game here is to just be patient.
Okay.
Okay. Like this isn't a marathon here. Like, just be patient with it. In 6 months' time, you will probably have 100+ patients. And when you start getting some other people in there, like police officers and firefighters or whatever, they start talking to all their buddies and whatnot, and it really snowballs very quick.
And I have a few of those. I have some border patrol and some police officer and firefighters. So I'm hoping that that does happen.
It will just be patient. Okay.
That's
Like,
the name of the game. Be patient.
just be patient with this. Yes, don't expect too much with it. Just be patient. Okay. I mean, you're been only open for a couple months and you have 30 something patients. I mean, at this point, I would say those 30 patients are probably covering the bills.
Yes, we just broke even. I just needed 30, and that just pays because right now I'm paying I'm paying 1,400 for marketing total. And because I'm so busy, I have, somebody manage my Facebook, do my Google ads, and I'm only doing 300 at Google ads. So I really think about it and I'm like, well, could I put that $650 towards more Google ads? Would that help bring in, or do I hold off on that and see what the $300 Google ads give me? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe just stay with the Google ads and leave it there.
Okay. And then I did apply for legit script in November, but we'll see whenever they get back.
Yeah, if you get that, then by all means, I mean, advertise a lot on Google for testosterone replacement therapy and semaglutide and whatnot. I mean, if you get that, then by all means, utilize it, right? But I don't think I would spend more than $500 to $1,000 a month on Google ads.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
And you will probably find in about a year or two, you won't need to advertise whatsoever because you'll just have so much word of mouth and your Google business listing will be solid with hundreds of reviews. Like you're going to be very well established.
Okay. That's the motivation I needed.
Yeah. Just be patient. Anyone listening to this, be patient. You-
Agreed.
yeah. I would start worrying about it if you're 3 to 6 months in and you only have like a dozen patients, then there's probably something wrong. You know what I mean? But you're 2 months in and you have 30 something patients. I mean, how many patients do you have scheduled this week or next?
Oh my gosh. So it trickled in. So this week I had just another appointment booked for today. So I have about 12 appointments. Some are follow-ups. And then I have two or three that are trickling down for the next couple weeks. So it will be kind of a nice breather. But I was not expecting that many patients for New Year's, So I'm kind of happy that we broke even this month.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive. So, if you have more and more patients being scheduled and whatnot, then Um, honestly, I would maybe one of my biggest pieces of advice for you here is just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
And then I wanted to get your thought process. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
that's all good.
I have like ADHD and maybe that's my problem, so I apologize. But I wanted to get your thought process because the lady who does the radio ads wants me to do monthly marketing meetings with her on every Tuesday of the month in a small community to talk to other healthcare professionals. I kind of feel like it's a waste of time because I'm not sure hospice is going to want to or other healthcare is going to send me referrals, for men's hormonal replacement since it's such a niche. What are your thoughts on it?
Your instinct is correct. It's gonna be a waste of your time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Things like that don't usually pay off.
Okay.
Yeah. That's gonna be a waste of your time. I wouldn't even waste your time on that. Like if you're gonna waste your time on something, go to some gyms and stuff. See if you can put some ads up in a gym.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, you might really not need to do that.
Yeah. Well, I hope your model really works, It's funny because I laugh. I'm like, gosh, I'm eating a lot of top ramen and trying to be really smart with my money. And then I feel like it paid off during the 10th week of business opening. So thank you, Justin.
No, you're welcome. No, I mean, it sounds like you just happen to be in a very good location with no competition that has some demand. Um, those things right there are critically important for, this business to grow. Um, so you already have those components there working for you. So that's amazing. Um, and that's why I keep saying that I think you just need to be patient because the universe and the stars have aligned for you. You already have such critical components filled by, luck, honestly. Um, and so now it's just sit back and kind of just go with the flow of it and just be patient with it. And I'm telling you, if you're booking 3 to 5 new patients a week,
Hmm.
you are on a very good track
Okay.
because that will snowball very quickly. 3 to 5 patients a week, you're looking at something like, what, 15, 20 patients a month. I mean, you do the math and, within the next 3 or 4 months, you'll have 100 patients. And when you hit 100 patients, you're making $15,000 a month, give or take. And, your profit margin is probably going to be somewhere around 50%. So now you're actually making some money, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then you can decide that, hey, I want to really open up my schedule. I really want to get more patients. You could start doing some more marketing things if you want, or you could just put that money towards student loans, any kind of other
Hmm.
debts that you have, and just be patient and just kind of let, let kind of life just do its thing. Just kind of let it do its thing and just be patient with it. You probably won't have to spend a lot of money marketing at all if you can just be patient. Because in a year, you could probably have a patient census of 150 people. And then, after the second year, 300, 400 people. And then it just snowballs. And before you know it, you're hiring another nurse practitioner.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you can finally quit that stupid urgent care job.
yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm just, I feel like as nurse practitioners, we just sometimes get the shit into the stick and get screwed very easily. I am so excited for a practice and something, to give me that freedom of enjoying my job versus having to give, crappy care for 15 minutes and get them out. That's just not something that I plan on spending the rest of my life retiring in.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine working urgent care when you're 50 years old?
Oh, no.
There's absolutely no way in hell, right?
Yeah.
So what you've done at this age is going to give you the opportunity to be able to get out of that standard model. And if you can scale and grow this appropriately and save your money appropriately and invest it correctly, then, by the time you're 45 years old, let's just call it like 10 years from now, you
Mhm.
should have a pretty significant nest egg. And if this business is doing as well as it should be in 10 years, you might be able to sell this practice for, a few $1 million, and then you'll be 45 years old and you just walk away.
Yep. And you know what? My retirement job would be like working at Walmart as a greeter, if they even still have that. That would be my dream.
Uh, you are insane. Yeah, like me personally, I think I'd rather just be like a bartender or some shit. You know what I mean? Just like some bullshit job, or maybe go like work at the like local fly shop or something. Um,
You're right.
like I've actually thought about that a few times. I've actually thought about going down to like a couple like the fly shops in my area and be like, "Hey, I'll work for free. You guys don't even have to pay me. Like
Yeah. Right.
I don't even need the money. I really don't care. Just let me sit here and bullshit with customers all day. But anyways, though, no, I think you're on the right path here. I mean, I think that a lot of this podcast was just more or less reassurance. I mean, you're doing what you need to be doing. Like, get rid of the IV infusion, stick with testosterone, stick with weight loss, stick with vitamin injections and peptides, and just leave it at that. Okay. Your objective here is to get as many people as you possibly can on testosterone replacement therapy. That's your base service, right? And then
Yeah.
everything else are more or less add-ons, unless someone wants to come to you specifically for weight loss. But you should be doing lab work on these individuals, and chances are, if they're obese, they're probably hypogonadal as well.
Yeah. Agreed. And I
Yeah,
feel like it's life changing. Men feel great on testosterone. And I think it's a great niche service that's really underserved in some ways.
absolutely. Yeah, it's very, very underserved. It's there's a stigma associated with it, and it's pretty unfortunate. I mean, a lot of guys out there are suffering, and it's really not necessary to be suffering. They don't need to be, but they are. It's life changing for a lot of people. Like you're doing a service for men. You really are. You're helping turn the average Western pussy back into a man. So congratulations.
The other question I also wanted, and then this is more of a process question. When you do your subscription modeling, I've recently just switched to doing it on the 15th and the 30th of the month for most of my men, just so it's easier to track my accounting. Do you do it like on a weekly basis, like where obviously they have a monthly subscription and takes out monthly, but do you have it like on every Wednesday or what?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. That's like yeah, exactly. It's like every Wednesday. So every Wednesday is when the automatic payments go through. So so 4 times a month we have a very large deposit in the bank. So basically, if someone signs up for treatment, one week we'll just put them on that Wednesday or the next Wednesday or whatever, and that's kind of that, and that'll be kind of like their due date.
Perfect.
Yeah. That way you're not having to backtrack and do that kind of a thing, give them credits and prorate things, et cetera. Just put them on, just pick a day out of the week and that's when the automatic payment goes through for, patients that week. And then just every Wednesday of every week, basically you have the automatic payment go through and then you just kind of keep track of it. I don't really keep a strict track on it. Really, the only time that we really check on it is when the patients call for a refill. We look back at their transaction data, and as long as they keep paying, we give them the refill. If they call 2 months later and we notice that, oh, dude, your transaction last month bounced, you need to pay us for that month and pay us for this month. If you don't, we're not giving you a refill. Simple as that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even if they only pay you for 1 month and then they decide to ditch you, they take a 2 or 3 month supply with them, you still make money.
Mhm. Right.
It's not the
No,
end of the world.
nope, I agree. I think too, like for me, it's just like figuring out. So I'm kind of happy that I'm at 30 patients right now, 32. But like I'm like figuring, just my processes out. Like before I would have my subscriptions just from the date that they had, and I'm like, this is horrible. Like I can't do this. I need to have like weekly or like, every 15th and 30th, just so I know when money's coming in and money's coming out. So yeah, thank you for that.
No, no, for sure. And then also make sure you have like bundle packages as well.
Yeah, I heard that on one of your podcasts a couple months ago. So I've been looking at doing that with like the Samoralin and the semaglutide, um, with a weight loss of like a discount versus I don't know what your thought process on that is, but like just a little bit discount, but where I can still make, a healthy profit. Typically like of 120 to 150 is what I'm shooting for with these patients.
Yeah, that should be about your goal. I used to say $100 a month profit, but with inflation and everything like that, I'd be shooting for about 120 minimum. So as long as you're hitting 120 to $150 a month in profit, you're doing pretty well, and you should, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, when you look back at all your expenses and income and that kind of thing, you should be hitting that profit margin of about 50%.
Okay. And then, so I agree. I think I'm gonna get rid of those radio ads because that was a nightmare. Trying to guess how many patients are coming in. Um, Anything else like on marketing that you think you would do other than like the Google ads, that I should probably do?
Again, I think maybe a billboard would probably do well in your area if you don't have any competition. That way people just know you exist.
Okay. Gosh, and the billboard out here, unfortunately, is like an hour away, but like when you go onto the freeway to get into this little rural area, there is billboards. It's just not directly in the cities. But do you think that would still be worth it?
Yeah, no, I think so.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Any other questions in terms of marketing goes?
No, 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 no. I know I'm jumping all over the place, so thank you.
Yeah. No, 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 you're good. You have any other questions whatsoever?
No, I think that's it. I just think I need to be patient and not be so hard on myself.
I think that's pretty much the big thing to take away from here from this is just, just be patient. Like you're doing pretty well, okay? Like you really are. You're doing above average. So just keep doing what you're doing
Okay.
and just be patient. Give it a few months. And in a few months you'll be like, "Damn, I'm making $10,000 a month profit."
Okay.
And you'll soon realize how much you're just getting totally gypped at that urgent care.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Nope, no other questions. I
Cool.
really appreciate you, Justin.
No, no, you're welcome. So I like to end the episode with you asking me a question. It could be a personal curiosity question for me, anything like that.
Yeah, I know that you probably get this question asked a lot, but I know that your podcasts have probably evolved since the time from I heard you. And any best piece of advice you would have gave yourself before starting your career, or that you would look back and do differently?
So, what piece of advice would I give my younger self in terms of my career goes?
Yes.
I would have told younger Justin not to go into healthcare. uh, I would have told younger Justin to go into like finance or something because that's what I actually truly like and what I'm good at. Yeah, that's probably what I would have went into, or I probably would have told him, fuck college. Why don't you just start yourself a business?
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
that's something they don't teach you in MP school, business, and so, like, learning it is it's a whole learning curve for sure.
it is. Most professionals don't get taught these business things. They just don't. And if you want to break free and start your own business or practice, like it's critically important to understand this stuff. And it's not difficult to learn. I mean, it's a lot of stuff to learn, but it's not difficult. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
and the thing about business in general is you just got to kind of experience it, like you just kind of got to do it. Like you can read books, you can take courses, you can watch videos, etc. But at the end of the day, you just kind of got to do it. So, you're
Yeah.
doing it, and I suspect that in the next year or two, you'll be very, very business savvy because you will have been in the trenches. So just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to be a learning experience along the way. And don't be hard on yourself.
Thanks. And you
Yeah.
know what? I'll have to say, Justin, you like when I listened to your podcast and you got my mind rolling, like that's when I was looking at, stocks and learning about financial stuff that I've never learned. I mean, for crying out loud, in elementary school, they taught us like how to balance a checkbook, and we don't even do that shit now. So uh when
Right.
I put around your podcast and I took your courses, I mean, I invested so much money in my education because that's where our MP schools kind of lack. And I am so glad that I stumbled across your platform because it's literally changed my whole perspective on not to be afraid and just go for it.
Just go for it, And the price of the course, $500, $1,000, you buy two of them or whatever. Like you're going to learn more from buying $1,000 in elite NP courses than, I hate to say it, but the majority of NP school. Like I look back at NP school and I would say 90% of it was complete garbage.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just total garbage that I will never use ever again. Like nursing school, nursing education in general, burn me at the stake, but I'm sorry, but the majority of it's horse shit.
Yeah, yeah, care plans. I'm like,
Come on.
I do parent nursing students and they ask me, they're like, the care plans. I'm like, look, I know care plans are stupid. You got to do them for like the board of nursing. It's BS. I get it. But, we don't even use care plans now. So it's like,
Nope.
it's a bunch of bullshit. I
No,
agree.
no, no, never used one in my entire life. Never used nursing theory, never used any of that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's complete garbage. So like I feel like honestly, like my master's thesis and all the nursing theory and all that stuff that I put into it, like looking back on it, I'm like, it was just a bunch of bullshit. Like
Uh-huh.
it was bullshit. Like I feel like I lied through half of it. Like it was just garbage. But anyways. All right. Well, this was a good conversation. And like I said, keep doing what you're doing. I think you're gonna be okay.
Thanks, Justin. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Take care. Bye. All right. Hope everyone enjoyed the conversation with Mary. The big thing here, guys, is to be patient. All right. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes you don't have to be doing a bunch of stuff. You don't have to be doing a bunch of marketing. You don't have to be offering a bunch of services. You don't need to complicate your business. Sit back and get the big picture and be like, okay, I'm getting patients and I'm not really doing anything. If that's the case, then just keep doing what you're doing, okay? You don't need to complicate this. But if things aren't working out for you, then yeah, you probably need to repivot, figure out if you need to offer some different services, figure out if you need to rebrand, your clinic's name, see if you need to market more, etc. But if things are working your way, don't complicate it, okay? Just be patient. A lot of times, all you need is just some reassurance. So shoot me an email and I'll be happy to reassure you if things are, probably going well for your practice, but you need just maybe like, a little motivational bump. So feel free to email me. All right. Hope everyone enjoys this conversation. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.